Three children and their parents are now in hospital after the vehicle they were traveling in collided in another car at the intersection of Port Royal Street and East Street in Kingston. Reports from eyewitnesses say the white Hyundai was traveling on East Street onto Port Royal Street when the driver allegedly broke the stop sign. It's reported that the children were passengers in the Honda Fit, which was traveling along Port Royal Street when the accident took place. The injured persons were assisted to hospital by motorists that were in the vicinity. One man was arrested by the St. Thomas police in relation to an illegal firearm and 10 rounds of ammunition that were seized during an operation in 11 miles of Bull Bay, St. Thomas yesterday. Reports from the Yalis police are that at about 6:30 a.m., lawmen were in the area when the premises occupied by the man was searched and the firearm and ammunition found inside a speaker box that was in his possession. He was subsequently taken into custody. However, his identity is still being withheld pending further investigation. As the government continues to crack down on guns and given the new Firearms Act, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he wants to reassure the country that it is not the intention of the government to see the end of the sport of rifle shooting or work in the Rifle Association.
With legal firearms. What we have a problem with are firearms entering the country unregistered, unregulated, and falling into the hands of persons whose sole intent is to take lives of citizens and others of the country. And that has been our problem for the last 40 years. During the 90s and the 2000s and now, it has escalated. Illegal guns are coming into the island through our legal ports. That is a major challenge, not to mention guns coming in through our illegal points of entry, through the guns for drugs trade. The challenge we face is that we as a society are divided as to how we should treat with this problem of illegal guns.
During the recent launch of the Jamaica Rifle Association Masterclass competition, Mr. Holness says it is an ongoing problem of illegal firearms entering the country and into the hands of persons that murder innocent people.
My presence here today is to, one, reassure the country that it is not the intention of the government to see the end of the sport of rifle shooting or shotgun shooting or pistol shooting. It is not the intention of the government to see the end of the Rifle Association or persons who want to participate in the various sporting activities to put an end to that. No, the intention of the government is to properly structure and regulate firearm ownership and usage in Jamaica.
The Prime Minister pointed out that the new Firearms Act will see a better regulated space for private ownership of firearms.
There is a residual fear I detect in legal firearm holders, a fear of the new firearms bill in Parliament. The outcome I'm foreseeing will be a far better regulated space for the private ownership of firearms. It will be a space where the people who own firearms are certified, both technically and in terms of fit and proper, meaning that they have established a need for the firearm and they have established that they are responsible and that their track record has been one of good, upstanding upholders of the law and public order.
Mr. Holness explained the objectives of the new Firearms Act.
The new firearms legislation will, one, promote and support the legal usage of firearms. It will promote the various sporting competitions that exist around the use of firearms. And in fact, many Jamaicans would not know, but this institution, the Jamaica Rifle Association, has been around for more than 125 years. There was a time in our country when schools used to shoot rifle competitively. There was no murder and mayhem in our country during that period of time. Some Jamaicans may recall that time. But our society since then has devolved into the depths of violence, and it has clouded the perspectives on many issues. My job as a Prime Minister is to redraw the lines and definitions and to place the society on the track for order and discipline.
In a Mello TV News follow-up, the police say approximately $600 million is the final count on the massive foreign currency haul seized by the police in Coral Garden, St. James on Tuesday. Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of crime, Fitz Bailey, confirmed the final count and pointed out that the investigations continue, with detectives actively pursuing the case. On Tuesday, the police seized a large sum of money as well as cocaine. The police say the cocaine valued at more than $80 million. 2 suspects were taken into custody. Meanwhile, the police are combing sections of Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth for a man they believe is linked to the drug and money find. According to law enforcement, the man they are seeking was the subject of an extradition request in the United States in 2005. And Mello TV News will bring you more on this story in subsequent newscasts. The nation's border security will be strengthened in the fight against illicit trafficking through training in maritime security, mentoring, and the provision of critical equipment under the renewed Seaport Corporation Project C-Corp agreement. The Memorandum of Understanding was signed this week by the government, and the European Union marks the 5th and final phase of the C-Corp project, which commenced in 2017. Speaking during the ceremony, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Courtney Williams, said the signing was a key aspect in building consensus among stakeholders and agencies critical in enhancing border security.
The Joint Maritime Control Unit within the JDF has been well utilized within the scope of this project, with a lot of noteworthy benefits. So the JDF, the JCF, and also the Jamaica Customs Agency, they have benefited from training in key areas of maritime security, mentoring of personnel, and provisional of critical equipment. So phase 5 of this project, it will continue with the delivery of some more training and mentorship opportunities. Again, this is really critical for the sustainability of this project. It will result in an increase in the frequency of mentoring to the Joint Maritime Control Unit vessel search teams to twice per annum, utilizing both trainers from the UK Border Force as well as the French Customs. The regional office of the C-Corp project will also continue to conduct both regional and trans-regional workshops for officers within the intelligence units of our security forces, the JDF and the JCF. As this is intended to be the final phase of the project, and in an effort to ensure the sustainability, the project will collaborate with the regional security system of CARICOM to deliver a training of trainers program for the region. And so collaboration with the Joint Regional Communication Center of CARICOM will facilitate the provision of maritime intelligence element of this training.
Chief of Defense Staff Rear Admiral Antoinette Weems-Gorman says the JDF will continue to support the efforts of C-Corp as it aims to contribute to the fight against illicit maritime trade and associated criminal networks in targeted countries of the Caribbean, including Jamaica.
The Jamaica Defence Force has always been a part of the CCOP program. We continue to support it. We see the benefit and the force multiplier of being able to train together, share together, and build our capacity to tackle the common threats in the maritime space. Maritime law enforcement can only be done by a very select few type of security agencies, and so it's important for us to really cooperate. The CCOP program enables us to do that in a meaningful way, and so the Jamaica Defence Force will continue to support the efforts of the CCOP, and I look forward to the continued benefits to Jamaica and our maritime law enforcement.
Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson pointed out that the C Corp has been revamped a few times, with elements being added to it to offer the best results, and is looking forward to what benefits it can bring to fighting crime.
It's a multi-agency approach to the problem of illicit trafficking through our formal ports, whether it's an airport or a seaport. It started a few years ago, and as you know, this is CCOP 5. So as you can tell, it has been revamped, redone over time. We're looking forward to what benefits it can bring, and some of those are intelligence sharing, also actual on-the-ground operations on the ports, and lots of training opportunities for the people who are involved in this. So we see it as a very important part of strengthening our border protection. As you've seen from our interdictions, we've seen guns coming through the ports, we've seen drugs coming through the ports, and of course illicit goods. And so we have to put what's necessary in place to deal with it. But the best way of doing it is a multi-agency approach. Obviously, we as the police see certain things. The JDF will see it, the Coast Guard, but also Customs Agency, key partner in this, will also see things. So we collaborate with our overseas partners, obviously, to do those three things: really operate, identify, and train.
Project Director of C Corp, Dominic Bucas, said the signing reiterated Jamaica's commitment to the fight against illicit trafficking by sea.
Some countries have a particular role to play, or because they have already a relevant organization and tools to fight against the maritime illicit trafficking, or because Europe wants to strengthen a particular relationship with those countries. So with these countries, we are developing a special partnership. And Jamaica is one of these countries, like Colombia, for instance, or like Senegal in Africa. This special partnership is illustrated by the participation of Jamaican trainers to the training of their colleagues in the area. The signature of a new Memorandum of Understanding between the EU-funded project CCOP 5 and the government of Jamaica is a way to register firmly our common will to fight jointly against the illicit maritime trafficking.
The signing ceremony, which was held at the Security Ministry's offices in Kingston, was witnessed by Ambassador to the European Union, Marianne Van Steen, where Admiral Antoinette Weiss-Gorman, Major General Anthony Anderson, and Director of the Intelligence at the Jamaica Customs Agency, Callista Powell. Jamaica Police Federation Chairman Corporal Rowan James today expounded on his public remarks made yesterday, in which he labeled the government, quote, modern-day slave masters, end quote, for its handling of the current wage negotiations.
I must expound on what it is that I pronounced yesterday as categorizing the treatment of rank and file membership and akin the employer, the government, to employing modern-day enslavement tactics. It is that we believe that the negotiation industrial best practices has been significantly undermined by the very fact that our employer cannot be held true to their words and their commitment. And consequently, the Police Federation has taken a stance that we cannot therefore entrust them by the words and their deeds and their action. They now have to demonstrate that with more than good faith, in light of the fact that we have acceded to a one-year deal with the government, and they have significantly eroded the trust and confidence, and has been playing that three-card tricks by pronouncing in the public domain what it is that is purported to be a reasonable sum total of compensation, and on the other hand, presenting to us, the Federation, a different package.
Speaking at a parish conference for the Trelawney Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force yesterday, Corporal James did not hold back in his assessment of how things were going. The Police Federation
We are saying that the time has
on the approach of the wage negotiations.
We are saying that the time has come for equity and equality to be demonstrated, and for the rights of the members of the Constabulary Force rank and file to be respected for the service that they have been affording to the country. And we are not going to compromise the well-being of the rank and file membership. It is the same remuneration that I too will be entitled to, and I hold no brief for the government. We will not be compromising what the membership is entitled to. If you are saying that for the time being you are going to be implementing a compensation review, it cannot be that at the end of the day it results in an austerity measure. And that is good faith. It's a retrograde step, and it is important that the government revisits its approach and remember that they are signatory to the ILO convention, and they must uphold every instance of their oath of office when they took the oath to serve the people of Jamaica and to protect the vested interests.
The Federation chairman called on the government to stick to its commitment that they have given the police.
The fact of the matter is, we would not want to negotiate in the public domain. We have an idea as to what that package should be like in light of the review, and we are going to hold true to form the commitment of the government. And as I said, I expect the government to act above board and to act with decency and integrity and to stick to its commitment that they have given us prior to us signing that one-year deal with the government.
In other news, Commonwealth Secretary General Baroness Patricia Scotland allegedly wants Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Senator Kamina Johnson to withdraw her bid for the post. Baroness Scotland made the call in an interview with ABS TV Antigua. She said, quote, "I would be incredibly pleased, as you can imagine it, if Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith thought again and felt maybe this wasn't the appropriate time to challenge a fellow Commonwealth and Caribbean person for this post," end quote. Baroness Scotland added that she has done 6 years of her 8-year term, and Africa anticipates that they will have an opportunity to put forward an African Secretary General in 2024 when she completes her 2nd term. She also added that at the moment, in accordance with tradition, there is, quote, "no vacancy," end quote. Jamaica announced Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith's candidature for the Secretary General earlier this month, and Mello TV will continue to bring you updates on the Commonwealth Secretary General candidacy issue as it arises in subsequent newscasts. 3 homes in Bigwell in Lucy, Hanover were damaged by fire, leaving 5 people homeless yesterday. News of the fire quickly spread, and our news team were on the scene to witness cooling down operations by firefighters. District Officer at the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Kirk Atkinson, in speaking with our news team, gave us this report.
At approximately 5:40, the Lucy Fire Station received a call, house on fire at Bigwell Lane, Lucy. Approximately 5:42 thereabout, we arrive on the scene and observe 3 dwellings, one totally destroyed and the other 2 partially damaged, to which 2 jets was 2 jets was brought into action, to which fire was totally extinguished. We have the investigator who will come in later on just to do the investigation, so we'll know the total damage, the total risk, the total loss after the investigation is completed. Yes, the house that is totally destroyed, we have 2 persons, 2 male occupied. The other 2, we have 1 female and 3 other occupants.
Gregory Samuels, nephew of one of the fire victims, said that he was frightened by the fire that completely destroyed his uncle's house in a short space of time.
I was just coming from the road, like I just finished doing my little hustling on the road. And by the time I reached up here, I was packing my stuff in my little shop right there. One of my friends notified me like he was up in the hills. So he called me, see me from up in the hills and called me, Greg, your uncle house abandoned, your uncle house abandoned. So by the time he come out and look up there, it's a big fire, I see an engulf out of the place, Like nothing couldn't save again, like it started so quickly. Like instant burn down, you see it? So boy, I was so frightened. There's a lot of stuff in there because my uncle's wife is in England, so she sent down a lot of stuff more while. So the barrels, a lot of different stuff, cologne, clothes, sheets, curtain, all type of things. Yeah, enough things, all different variety of stuff, you see it?
Desmond Dorman, a resident of the community, said that the community needs a functioning fire hydrant, which could have made a difference in containing the fire.
Regrettably, we did not have a fire hydrant in the community. We do not have one. I should say there used to be one, and it became malfunction and it no longer works, and it hampered the firemen considerably this afternoon. We need a fire hydrant so that when the firemen come, they have a ready source of water apart from their truck. This community is called Bigwell Lane because it has a well. Many people might not know what a well is. It is an entombed spring, meaning water comes up out of the ground like the water you drink, spring water in your bottle, and it is encased with concrete. It is ever flowing, and that was a source of assistance this afternoon with firefighters fighting the blaze themselves. There was a bucket brigade, and people grabbed their kegs and their buckets and joined in, and that was of considerable assistance.
Now in a Mello TV News update, road work has begun on the Norwood Main Road in St. James following protests by taxi operators and residents who on Wednesday blocked sections of the road over poor conditions. They had complained that the roadway has been in a bad state for several years. Community members were adamant that if no road work started this week, they would block the roads again. Our news team visited the area and saw workmen and heavy machinery maneuvering the roadway as they fixed badly damaged areas. Joshua Cummings, councillor for the Montego Bay Central Division, who was on location to assist with the monitoring of the work, said that the 3 roads are being fixed presently in the community.
Today is Friday, and I am pleased to say that if they had just been patient in their action, then we would get result, because I told them Wednesday that Thursday we would start the work, and we start the work Thursday and it continues today. If we had everything in place, yes, we would start yesterday. Because indeed we were supposed to start from Monday, but due to the rain on Monday and Tuesday, then we had to postpone. Well, we are doing at least 3 roads presently in Norwood, and for us to be doing 3 roads in Norwood, it wasn't an overnight thing. It was something that was being procured long time, and it is now ripe and ready to be executed. And those roads are the Middle Road, which is a main thoroughfare that will take the traffic from the Dr. Chang Boulevard all the way through to Westgate Hills. And we are doing the sea view crossing that takes persons to the airport and to the highway.
Councillor Cummings said that based on the level of work that is being done, he's estimating completion to be done in another 2 to 3 weeks.
In all fairness to you, I could not say the time frame because I am not the contractor. We did not have that kind of dialogue as to when it's going to be completed, but I know in short order it will be completed. My estimation, based on what I'm seeing, in another 2 to 3 weeks. We did not sat down because of the rush in regards to what the taxi operators has carried out. So we did not get to sit down and fine-tune all these things, the time frame when it is going to through and the cost to complete these roads. Well, I think they can look forward for a better relationship and show that love and togetherness so we can develop and grow the community.
Taxi operators and residents who spoke with our news team expressed joy and relief that the work has finally started.
I don't see any pretty looks yet, it's still rough. And I think the councillor is doing a good job if he's going to go through with it.
Well, I'm glad to see the road fixing because this is the place. Because it was so bad that couldn't pass it. So I'm glad to see it fixed and I respect how I see it go on. Yeah man, I big up the council man. Yeah man, I big him up man, I good work man. Because I'm glad to see this got my next day, it go and deal with it. So I'm glad to see it. But it won't take too long to come.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to reach a stage yet. We don't like that stage where things have to reach and people have got black road and things should just run, man. How it do so fast now? And if you never black, it would have just go and see him here.
Yeah, a long time in a pipeline.
Too long.
So I'm glad to run out here now.
Right.
Yeah, I feel good about it because I see the process started, isn't it?
Jamaica reported 160 new cases of COVID-19 and 7 fatalities on Thursday, according to the latest statistics from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. This pushed the total number of cases of the virus since the start of the pandemic to 129,978 and the total death toll to 2,962. The country also recorded 102 new recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 83,358 and 739 confirmed active cases. Of the newly reported cases, there were 68 females and 48 males, with ages ranging from 25 days to 82 years. The cases were recorded in St. Anne, 33, Kingston and St. Andrew, 26, St. James, 26, Westmoreland and St. Catherine, each recording 8 cases, and Manchester, 5, Trelawney, 4, Clarendon, 3, and Hannibal rounding out at 3. Meanwhile, the latest deaths are 2 females ages 82 and 80, both from Kingston and St. Andrew, whose deaths were previously reported under investigation. A 62-year-old male from St. James, whose death was previously reported under investigation, and 3 newly confirmed deaths of 3 males from St. James, ages 87, 85, and 55, and a 63-year-old male from Westmoreland. 4 of the latest deaths were recorded in September 2021, and other 4 were recorded in January 2022. Meanwhile, Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton warns that the coronavirus Omicron BA.2 variant is spreading and people need to protect themselves by practicing safety measures and getting vaccinated. Dr. Tufton said that more persons are going to be positive with COVID-19 or are positive, and responsible actions are needed from the population. The minister added that over the last day, Jamaica recorded a positivity rate of 11.6%, which represents a 7-day average of 8.6%. Minister Tufton explained that the data shows that 97.8% of the COVID-19 deaths were unvaccinated persons, and that it is important that persons be reminded that if they become ill with the virus and are not protected by vaccines, they are at a very high risk of dying. The minister made an appeal for continued wearing of masks, physical distancing, frequent hand washing. Minister Tufton is advising persons to stay home if you are ill and get vaccinated. Vaccines are available and they are the best form of protection. Jamaica's Tourism Minister Edmund Martlett yesterday joined the esteemed group of high achievers in the international travel and hospitality industry with his induction into the prestigious Global Travel Hall of Fame. The Global Travel Hall of Fame, formerly dubbed the British Travel and Hospitality Hall of Fame, recognizes the highest achievers in the travel, hospitality, tourism, and leisure sectors. Inductees are also hailed as having not only achieved phenomenal business success, but also inspired and shaped those around them. Minister Bartlett is the first Caribbean tourism leader to receive this honor. The elaborate induction ceremony was held at the Chesterfield Hotel in London. Minister Bartlett said he was humbled by the recognition, which follows a stream of other worldwide industry awards bestowed upon him. He has also given credit to the team that he leads at the Ministry of Tourism and its public bodies, describing them as, quote, very dedicated and hardworking public sector workers who appreciate the significance of what they do to the success of tourism and its important contribution to the Jamaican economy, end quote. Minister Bartlett also lauded tourism stakeholders across the island for their contribution and support as partners in developing the sector over the years. And those are the stories making the news. We now take a break and then join Christopher Scott with the sports.
Hi.